In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make your Flourish visualizations as sort of mobile and small screen friendly as possible. The main thing to know is that Flourish visualizations are all responsive. So if I change the size of this window, it will be responsive. But there are a couple of tricks that you should know about how to make them as responsive and sort of friendly for smaller screens especially as possible. So the first thing I actually just previewed just now is these buttons over here in the top left corner. They are buttons that let you preview your visualization at different widths. So this first one shows you the available width in this window. And then there are also the typical tablet and typical mobile phone width. So you can click through these to see what your visualization will look like at different widths. You can see how the text is sort of moved around. It's now split over 2 lines versus 1, the first 2. And then this last button here is also one that lets you preview it at a custom size. So if you have sort of an Android phone or something like that, or some specific size that you'd like to look at, you can always do that. So the other thing to know is that there are a couple of things which people do and to make their visualizations when they're using this view that then makes them not very mobile friendly. So I'm going to go through a couple of those. The first is adding really long labels, which will end up getting cut off on your mobile width. So if I made these labels are now sort of short so that they fit on the screen, but if I increase the text size a bit and then made this, instead of UK, United Kingdom, made this European Union, and made this North and South America, and I went back here, you can see they're cut off. Depending on the size of the screen, they might not be cut off in a smaller screen, on a bigger screen, but then if I go to this mobile width, they're definitely cut off. Something that people often do to fix this issue is make the margins bigger on the left to give more room for these labels to be seen on the bigger screen. So if I made this left one 50 instead, or maybe 90, you can see now that there's enough room here on the left for the labels. But now if I go to the mobile width, it really squashes the chart over here. And if I did this even more, if I had even longer labels, it's sort of laying the chart out in a weird way. So what you want to do is try to keep your margins as small as possible, especially on the left and right. And to keep your labels as short as possible so that you don't have to increase the margins. It's kind of a positive feedback loop. The other thing that you should know about is in this chart type setting here is these different height modes. It depends on how you're embedding the chart, but if you hover over this question mark, it will tell you a little bit more about that different height modes. I won't go through those now because you can read about them there. And then the last thing is to know about is the layout maximum width option, which lets you set a maximum width for the chart in any sort of context, and sometimes this helps with mobile and small screens as well, so that you make your chart at a smaller width and doesn't get so squashed down when it's on a mobile screen. So I hope that helps. This is something that is not very intuitive how to do in Flourish, and it's something that trips a lot of people up, not necessarily right when they make the visualization, but once they embed it on a web page and then look at it on a small screen, they're like, oh no, this is not what I wanted. So I think it's definitely worth going through. In this video, I'm going to be talking about pop-ups in Flourish and sort of different kinds of pop-ups that are in different Flourish templates. So at the moment, we have 2 main different types of pop-ups. Each Flourish template has the option of adding pop-ups, and some of them are slightly different from others, but there's 2 main types. And so the first is sort of fully automatic pop-ups that you can only turn on and off. And an example of that kind in a template would be in the line bar and pie charts template. So that's where we are right now. You can see here at the top, line bar and pie charts. And if you go to the settings panel here on the right, there's this pop-up settings. And the only real options in here are to change the text size up or down, to increase it or decrease it, or to show or not show. So they're on right now, and now they're not on. So when I hover over these bars, nothing happens. Turn them on. There you go. And the other type is a sort of very customizable, fully customizable pop-up, and that would be in something like the projection map, which is where we are right now, in this one. So this is a map of London boroughs, and it's being colored by the percent of school pupils with non-English as a first language, so highest here in Tower Hamlets and Newham, and then really low out in the outer boroughs. So if you go to the regions layer settings and scroll down, you get the pop-up settings all the way at the bottom. And the first thing is obviously to enable or disable them. So if I disable them, turn them off, they're gone. And if I enable them, the default is for them to be on auto. So what auto does is just show the name column. So in this case, that's the London borough name, and then the column and the value that the map is being shaded by. The different regions are being shaded by. So if we go to this, we can see that on the data sheet, we can see that the name column is the borough, and then the C column is the value column that's being the map is being colored by. So you can also add, there's this metadata for pop-ups column setting, which you can add another column to, which will then automatically populate the pop-up as well. So for example, if I wanted inner outer, this inner outer London column, I'd put that in there as well, D, and then now it's showing up in the pop-up as well. But let's say, for example, that I actually didn't want the percentage, I didn't want the pupils with non-English language to be in pop-up at all. Because the automatic pop-up will always put that in there. To do this, you need to use this custom content option. So if I kind of want to recreate this with just with the custom content, but without the pupils percentage, what I would do would be to use the custom content pop-up. So the custom pop-up, the way it works is that you insert the value of columns using the column name in brackets. So if I wanted to add the borough, so as a header, you also need to know a little bit of HTML, because HTML is sort of how you arrange the pop-ups. But if I wanted to add the borough there at the top as sort of a header, we can do that there. And then if I just wanted the inner outer borough one as well, I would do this. And then I could also add like inner or like type of borough, something like that. And then I would put inner or outer exactly as it is in the data sheet, exactly the same capitalization. And now when I hover over, the actual value of the map is gone, and it's just telling me the borough name and the type of borough. So custom pop-ups are something that's kind of a more advanced feature, but once you get your head around it, they're really useful, and they mean that you can really customize your maps especially, but other types of charts as well. And they're just a really great Flourish feature.